Great, you've decided to remodel your kitchen. That's one decision you are done with. But now you have a plethora of new decisions, including kitchen cabinets. You have to figure out how to make a choice. Here's what I'm going to tell you, at least on kitchen cabinets today, that'll help you. You've got so many different styles, colors, paint, stain, functionality, who's going to be using the kitchen, what kind of appliances. All these are considerations you need to make before you decide on your cabinets. First thing you want to ask is, who is this for? Is it for somebody who's going to use the kitchen a lot? Is it for somebody who wants to entertain a lot? Is it for somebody who barely ever goes in the kitchen? And is this in a nice home, or is this in a rental unit, in an apartment? Depending on what the kitchen is going to be used for, who's going to be using it, is going to help lead you down the path of what type of kitchen cabinets you need. If you're going to be entertaining, maybe you want a bigger, beautiful kitchen. Maybe more money is spent on the aesthetics and the ability to lounge in the kitchen and entertain. If it's not important to entertain and it's more about just having a chef's kitchen and you've got all kinds of different appliances in there, we're going to want to beef up the electrical a little bit. And maybe make an appliance garage for your kitchen. So your cabinets might be a little different. The layout of your kitchen might be different. So when it comes to cabinets, you've got a few choices. Mostly you have custom, fully custom, made from like pieces of plywood and solid wood, carved out at the woodworker's shop, the cabinet maker's shop, stained and painted by tradesmen. You have semi-custom, which are manufactured in a facility somewhere, that are sprayed or painted typically at the manufacturer's warehouse. Usually they come in a flat pack, or for a fee they'll put those together. Then you have ready-made, pre-made boxes. This is what you might see at Home Depot, at Lowe's. This is just standard cabinet sizes. You know, you get what you see and that's it. So depending on your need for the kitchen is going to determine if you need custom, semi-custom, or pre-made boxes. If you're doing an ADU or a rental where you want to keep costs down, you may opt for pre-made boxes. They're not going to be as high quality. They're going to be affordable to replace in 10 years. If you're looking to use these in your own home and you're going to cook quite a bit and you need a little bit more functionality than just a 15-inch box. Maybe you want to have like a couple sheet pan cabinets and some organizers and some pull-out drawers. Well, all that can be done in semi-custom. And then if you just absolutely want full control over the cabinets, that's when you go custom. A lot of the semi-custom companies have quite a bit of control, but they are limited. So a lot of times I will go for the semi-custom because the lead time is typically quicker than the custom cabinets, and the finish on these manufacturer-made cabinets is incredible, because here in California you're limited on some of the finishes you can use, versus in these manufacturing warehouses they have $100,000 pieces of equipment to spray the paint, the finish. So you get a better, longer lasting finish on some of the semi-custom stuff. And like I said, it comes a little quicker. You still have a really wide range of customability, customization. So they can be a great option for many different projects. Super important part about ordering cabinets is getting all your measurements correct. If you get this wrong, it can be an extremely painful mistake. It's expensive to have pieces made if they're missing, or have cabinets adjusted. So you want to make sure you get your wall dimensions accurate from end to end where the cabinets are going to go. You want to make sure that you have your ceiling height as well, and the spacing in between maybe the island or the walkways into the kitchen. So make sure that you have all your dimensions, including windows and doors, and that'll help for a smooth process as you're ordering cabinets. Cabinets can vary wildly on pricing, so you need to know what you're getting or what you're giving if you're a contractor. You can get a kitchen layout for $4,000, but that same kitchen layout from a different cabinet line might be $40,000. So what's the difference? Difference is the $4,000 layout has been mass produced. You do not have much customability, and you have only a few colors to choose from. Or you may have no colors to choose from. You may have to choose the color that they offer. So when you're looking at your budget, again, it's who are these cabinets for? And if they're for a really nice house, you're not going to get those cheap cabinets. But if it's for an apartment turnover for a new renter that's just going to destroy them anyways, those might be the perfect cabinets to get. What are your cabinets made out of? If you don't know, you should find out. They're either made out of plywood boxes and solid wood doors, or particle board boxes, or melamine. All of these are different, and some of them have their strengths, except for particle board, which I would stay away from unless you're getting them for incredibly cheap. And then, okay, maybe for a rental. So plywood boxes are going to be your most solid, stable type of cabinet. You're going to get your longest use out of a plywood box. Some people do like the melamine, and I do for certain occasions. Melamine is going to be easier to clean than your solid wood door finishes typically. But if water does get in between some of the seams of melamine, it'll swell just like particle board, which is another reason you don't want to use particle board, because as soon as water touches that, which it's likely in your kitchen, it's going to swell up and it's going to ruin the cabinet and you're done. So what are your cabinets made of? That's an important factor to think of and in your spend. Now also, the pulls, you have hardware pulls, you have knobs. What are you going to choose for there? Mostly that's the design aesthetic, but also you want to take into consideration your door. If it has like a tight shaker on some of the drawers, you might not be able to get your whole hand into a pull, so you might want to use a knob for that. It's just something to consider. And you have your hinges and your drawer glides. Most people are using soft close hinges and drawer glides when we're doing remodels nowadays. And you want to find out what manufacturer is making these. Is this like the most affordable, or is this high-end hinges and glides? It's going to depend on the longevity of your soft close cabinets, drawers, and doors. These are the items I would recommend considering as far as your cabinet construction and what to look for, hardware and wood-wise. So the cabinets have arrived, they're off the pallets, they're in your garage. Now what? Well, it's time to install them. You want to make sure that you have a great installer for the cabinets, because you've spent a lot of money on them and they need to be done properly. Before he starts installing, you want to make sure he checks the level of the floor, the flooring that's going to be connected to these cabinets, all the parts and pieces, the cabinets have been checked. Make sure that nothing has been damaged in transit, and make sure that you're on the same page as far as what you're expecting. Nothing's perfect when it comes to construction, so your drywall and the ceiling may have a little whoop-de-doo or a little bump, or maybe a little lower in an area of some of the upper cabinets. And so that's what the crown molding is for. It's to cover that up. And so it's good to utilize the crown molding and the trim where it's needed, but it just doesn't want to be overutilized for a professional finish. So it's a combination of a great design, a good product for the situation, and an excellent installer. If you do all these things, you have a great shot at having a wonderful kitchen. If this episode brought you any value, like, subscribe, and comment down below so I know you're watching. I'd love to provide more value for you guys. I want to hear what you want to see.